Folks, your Chiefs have done it. They are going back to a third straight Super Bowl with a chance to make history. We are breaking it all down for you. This is RGR Live. Welcome in. Dan will be joining us as soon as we can get some of those things worked out. We had a couple of problems here, but we will be live shortly with him as well. This is a monumental change because they had to make sure that they made drive after drive after drive. It was incredible to watch this game. If you have not seen the end of it, don't let me ruin it for you. Some of you are on a time delay. If you haven't been here before, make sure you like and sub and become part of this channel right now because it is all going for it. I'm almost at a loss of words. And you guys know how rare that is for me because I generally know what I'm going to say. I was starting to prepare for overtime. They didn't have to do it. The Chiefs come up, and the Chiefs come up in a way that I didn't think they were going to have to. And hey, let's all be happy that they did. It becomes a storyline that won't go over, I think, too big on the national headlines. But this was a game at quarterback against quarterback. They get it done 32-29, coming back and putting up points really consistently. When you take a look, I have the stats over here to my left. This is the stat that stood out to me the most tonight. And Patrick Mahomes outran Josh Allen tonight and scored 2 touchdowns to Josh Allen's 0. And I am a Josh Allen fan. He is an excellent quarterback, would be my second favorite probably in this league. He deserves the respect, but Patrick Mahomes was the better quarterback all the way around tonight. You can't even separate it into throwing and running. He was better completely. It was a 104 rating for Josh Allen, 22 of 34. It was a 111 rating for Patrick Mahomes, 18 of 26 for 245, more yardage on less completions. It was a night when that offense got rolling. They came out hot. They hit everything they needed to hit from the get-go so that they could get off to a roll. You saw that first 15 really work out. And if you were on social media, you saw me mention that the first drive plus that second drive, they needed to get points out of that. That first 15 was rolling. The RPO back in the ball game set the Bills completely off. They didn't know what was going on. It was a tough ball game for them to get back and get on the right track with. And that sometimes is difficult for any team, but especially when you're facing Patrick Mahomes, it just makes things that much harder. I'm going to bring in some of the stats so we can take a look at them together while Dan's going to be joining us here shortly. So what you end up getting here is some of these comparisons. I was very impressed. James Cook was better tonight than I had thought that he would be. Kudos to the Chiefs defense. When they had to buckle down, they did, but he got some big chunk plays. Obviously scored a couple of the touchdowns. Went for 6.5 per carry. Much better than any of the Chiefs running backs. But between Pops and Kareem Hunt, they were able to grind it out and were actually more effective as a group on the ground than were Cook and Ty Johnson. So that was a big turning point. It allowed them to do what they needed to do in order to get there. Xavier Worthy, I'll admit, I thought this kind of performance is what was in store from Hollywood Brown. They tried to go to him again, yet what ended up happening? It was the rookie Xavier Worthy that played through. He got the performance that I was expecting from Hollywood Brown, and that is saying a lot for a kid in his first go here. Jaden Hicks made a play, especially late, trying to really shore up another rookie contribution. That's one thing that they won't tell you in the annals of history, whether they get this Super Bowl done or not. The annals of history, they will have a hard time breaking it down, and they will forget to mention that there were rookie contributions from this entire run, this entire dynasty put out from the rookie level because, quite frankly, they had to. That's what it comes down to. We are going to get to your questions. This is the post game where I break down my notes, get them ready to put them up for the members. If you want to join the memberships, you can do that. On the other side of the screen, that is the button that says join. That'll get you all the inside info and my notes and everything like that. But we'll go through some of it tonight, and we'll answer all of your super chats. So we'll start with tactics. Pacheco slid before he went out of bounds. That was bull. I thought it was very, very close. I didn't think that he had actually gotten out. I thought they had to call that timeout. But either way, they were able to manage that clock. They were able to get first downs when they had to get first downs, because I think what you saw was an incredible offensive performance from the Chiefs had to match the offensive performance from the Bills. The Bills were tooled up and ready to go and doing very, very well. And in the end, it comes back to make sure that you do your job. Everybody had to do their job. There were a couple of breakdowns. That last touchdown in the back of the end zone was a problem. That was a breakdown. in a coverage scheme. I believe it was Tranquil that I saw at the end of the play, thought that he should have been in a different spot and had that guy across the end of the background. That was just a breakdown. The first touchdown against McDuffie, that was just a great play in pretty good coverage, to be honest. So I didn't feel like that was the same level of breakdown. And that's what you have to have. I'm trying to talk to Dan here on the side real quick. So don't hold it against me. And I am going to send that to him, and we will get that squared away. I think also, as we go through, little bit was the fact after this week, and Tactics Heads, I hate that our backs didn't get to that last throw. And that's fair. You want to see him complete the game in its entirety, right? So I completely understand where you're coming from. But I have to say, this was a defense performance that no one thought the Chiefs could pull off. Especially stopping Josh on the sneaks was incredible. That is what happens when you do your film work. Knowing that he's either going to go up the middle or, as I told you 2 weeks ago, Josh opens his stance to the left. You know he's going left if he can't go straight ahead. Chiefs stood it up. Hicks made a play. Trank made a play. Bolton made a play. All the D linemen got under. Chris had his helmet torn off at one point because he was making such a dig to get in there. I think you have to give respect where respect is due, and they certainly deserve that. The defense stood up tonight and did help you get back to another championship. And Tactics had another one here. How will this O-line fare against the Eagles? The Eagles have a great front, and I think what you saw today is that they can change up their speed. The speed is important. You saw Nolan Smith have a couple of nice plays today, and so that speed aspect on the outside is going to be a challenge. For Jawan Taylor, who I thought played pretty damn good tonight, but certainly for Joe Thuney, we'll see. I think they have to stick with the same lineup going into the Super Bowl. All my pushing for DJ Humphries aside, I think changing it up now going into that game is probably too late and probably not the greatest idea. You got to roll with what got you here at this point. Now, Caliendo was a liability tonight. Several times in my notes, he did end up in that situation, and that is probably the biggest determiner of how Ed Oliver got his plays made. Getting a text here. Hopefully this is from Dan, and I will answer that. Apologies, folks. You know, on big nights like this, sometimes when a hiccup gets thrown at you, technology-wise, we have a little bit of time that we will struggle from time to time. Everybody will. Dan is on his way down to the Senior Bowl to cover that for us this coming week, as well as all that he's doing over at TDN. You'll find all of his content there in both ways. And please do check out all of his work because he does a hell of a job, and not just for us, but for everybody. So Thundarius in here. Thanks, pal. 3-peat timer still ticking. How about those Chiefs? I like what you're doing, Thundarius. If you haven't seen Thundarius' page, Thundarius, throw the link in the chat so everybody can get a look at it because it's cool, it's simple, it's straightforward, and it just, I think, intimidates the hell out of all the other fan bases. So I think we should promote that thing until the cows come home. Let's get after it. Tatum, nice to see you, Super Bowl, baby. Appreciate you guys and all. That's all I wanted to say. Well, I appreciate you, Tatum, back and always here, and I appreciate seeing your face and your positive comments, and I appreciate the support. Thank you very much. It's crazy to be in this situation, especially when you think about all the teams and all the things that had to happen. I'll also take a step back and remind everyone, all the bitching and moaning that I did all season long about how they were having to win these ugly games, coming up close. It taught them to be prepared for tonight, especially the Xavier Worthys and the Jaden Hicks and everybody that had little or no experience, maybe even Hollywood, certainly Hop at times, because I don't think close games are a thing in Hop's background either. So it's been a difficult transition, but those close games paid off and got them where they needed to go. And I will see right now if old Mr. Harms is doing all right and see if he can hear me.
I can hear you, but my audio is screwed up. Like, it's just not working, and I can't get it to fix. So we're just going to have to deal with it. So I'm happy and mad at the same time.
Well, let's go with your happy thoughts. Where are you with how this team performed?
I mean, the third quarter bugaboo showed up again, right? Like that, it seemed to be they couldn't come out, they couldn't score, and then they went 3 and out right away. But then they made the plays in the moments that you had to see. You had to see them make that fourth down stop. How often were they in fourth down? We told you guys, getting to those third and shorts and fourth and shorts was paramount. You can't let them do that. They were unable to do so. So they were able to get a couple fourth down stops there at the end, and then you saw what happens. Patrick Mahomes, they go down, they score, unable to get that touchdown. But then the defense, once again, they get that fourth down stop on 4th and 5. And then you get the couple of first downs. Pacheco not staying in bounds. That one was a little frustrating there. But overall, the plays that they needed to make were right there in front of them in that fourth quarter, and they made it. And at the end of the day, Harrison Butker, once again, is the playoff quote-unquote hero with a 3-point victory. You love to see it. Well, I love it, Timmy. Juju Smith-Schuster having a couple big plays in this game. Like, there are
2 catches, 60 yards.
Like, I wish this wasn't happening, because I was so much happier coming into this before the audio nonsense.
You're all right, and it's going to be fine. It's about your takeaways and your notes, so I appreciate you, buddy. I really feel also, after this crap week and everything that's been talked about, there wasn't a single call that really, I think, added to the outcome of this game. So I don't think anyone can take away from what this team just did in stopping Josh, in particular, stopping him personally. That is the thing that I don't care what anybody wants to say. You can't say it was called, and you can't say that you didn't do your job to take away Josh's best thing, and that his physicality. I thought Josh played a good game. I love watching him play. I love that this rivalry is real, but the Chiefs' defense played better by leaps and bounds than what we had to see out of the Buffalo defense.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Like, they converted fourth downs at a high rate. Yeah. But they continued to get them in fourth down situations. That's a defense that, you know, the couple of big plays, you can't stand Brian Cook. I get it. Letting the same thing happen again. Like, I know he wasn't necessarily on the field at that point, but you cannot let that happen on a third down and long. Early in the game, you had a couple of those, but I agree with you. No penalty that happened or call that was made in this football game changed the outcome so dramatically. I thought this was a fantastic refereed performance, in my opinion, and one of the better. I mean, outside of the Trent McDuffie, which was not a penalty. Sorry, he's just short, so it kind of looks like maybe. But overall, I thought their offense played very well. And then you had, again, the third down situation stuff. But it was, man, I tell you what, guys, that was a lot of fun to watch. It was stressful. Me and my wife watched it together over FaceTime, and that's what we do when we're not together. And that was a lot of fun because she's like 10 seconds ahead of me, so I'm waiting for her facial response to see what happens. And sometimes it's good and bad, but you know, it's a lot of fun to watch.
I am updating the thumbnail right now because I had another prepared and I just wanted to give it a shot. So you guys will see this a little bit differently when you go to rewatch or you see what comes next. Thank you, Tatum. Good to see you, buddy. Minotaur, thank you, pal. Over 40 months in the memberships. You are the reason we get this done.
Thank you, Tatum.
3+ years. Appreciate you. What a game. What a run. Unbelievable performance today from the defense. And I think you said it best. It is the defense that got it there. They say defense wins championships, and there is no way to shorten that. Patrick couldn't have done this on his own. If it wasn't for stopping Josh, but they don't win this game. So this is as much, in my opinion, on the defense. The congratulations goes to them as well as it does to Patrick and the offense.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at what they did, I mean, it's hard to fathom. In these situations, they continue to find the plays. And Andy Reid coming up with those crucial, almost semi-similar plays. I mean, leaking Piran out of the backfield in that 3rd and 9. That was another crosser. But then the ways that they used Patrick Mahomes' legs in this football game showed you that they had a fantastic game plan for how to attack these Bills defenders, because they couldn't run the ball at certain times, but they decided moving Patrick out to his right, going after those safeties was the way to do it. They did it multiple times, and they got big chunk plays out of it. And then that touchdown. Patrick Mahomes having 2 rushing touchdowns in this game was not on my bingo card, you guys, but that was awesome to watch. And now they have just moved to 4-0 against the Buffalo Bills in the postseason. That is hard. That is so hard to do, to beat those good teams in the postseason. But here we are, Patrick Mahomes, Chris Jones, Steve Spagnuolo, Andy Reid. They are the monster at the end of the AFC, and it doesn't matter. You can't beat them.
No, there's no way around it. And unfortunately for Josh, this will go down on him. And I don't believe that he deserves that. But
it shouldn't.
It should not. Absolutely. Daryl Sparks, thank you. Turn your head around and tell me who's going to the Super Bowl. Well, that would be you and me and all
everyone
of us
here.
And probably, this might look familiar. I don't know. I think that probably sounds about right to everybody, right? I mean, come on. It is a good day out. And if you are with us tonight, we very much appreciate you. We're going to go through, take your comments, take your questions, go through our notes and what we saw as Dan is on his way down to Mobile, Alabama for the Senior Bowl and all of the draft work there. But we do have some sponsors. They will help you out. If you want to get into this action, go check out BetUS.
The best way to get into the action is with BetUS and their deal with code YouTube150. You can start playing today with that exclusive offer. You can get into all the football that you want, whether it's this week's matchup for the Chiefs, whether it's getting into the season-long odds against Super Bowl, against the division. The Chiefs are heavily favored in a lot of those, but there are plenty of bets to be made. And you can do it all at BetUS, where you can get 150% of your deposit bonus up to 3 times and up to $2,000. Use YouTube 150 today at BetUS.
I want to throw this graphic up real quick, Dan, because I love tracking this, and I probably used the wrong version of this board, but let's go to this one instead. And so this is the projection for who's going to win, and this is what makes me nervous. As you watch this, you get to fourth quarter, and it's on the Bills side, and then from there, it's all down here. And yes, they popped up a couple of times. Bills were never 100% out of this. I thought when they had to settle for that field go to 32 points, that was trouble brewing right there. So cheers to them and riding it out. I was saying, I think just before you came on, that being in these close games set them up to be in control of this game down the stretch. And I think that paid off in droves.
Absolutely. When you're in these moments, you don't panic. And I thought the Chiefs could have gotten to a point where, it was 22-21. And then the Bills got the ball because the Chiefs punted in that 3 and out. And I know people are going to say Allen got the first down. I think that you could make a case either way, and that's the point. That's why it was called stands, not called confirmed. They called it on the field as short of the first down. I don't think you could conclusively say where that football was in terms of forward progress and where the ball was hitting that line or not. And that's kind of the problem in the gray area of some of these plays in these short yardage where you're trying to get that working there. So at the end of the day, they were able to get in there. Chris Jones, some of these defensive tackles, very tired in that third quarter. On that fourth down, they did a fantastic job of getting that push, knowing that Josh Allen's going to go to his left. And they did, again, a great job getting pushed there and doing that. So you just, in big moments, again, I can't stress it enough, big moments, they played better than the Bills in those big moments in the fourth quarter. And when you're in those close games, like you said, it's a consistent effort because you know exactly what it takes to win and execute in those moments. And when you have now 17 straight one-score victories, you know exactly how to win them, and they did.
Yeah, you know where you're going and what you're doing. Let me try this one. Yep, that's going to give you a visual. So, Stephen, thank you for the super chat. We appreciate you. Patrick played great. You're absolutely right. Worthy is a stud. Thanks for letting us get them, Buffalo. Yes. I mean, that was the revenge thing. And if you saw my social, if you guys were with us live on the draft, the moment they selected Xavier Worthy, we said, thank you, Brandon. So this comes back to haunt you. That will be on a shirt tomorrow, I guarantee you. And by the way, the Reaper and the 13-second game, all the gear is still available in the gear store. You can go get it right now. There's a link in the description. But this is what Xavier did. And this is what I wanted to show. 6 or 7 targets for what he did. And it was all kinds of routes. I love the whip route. I think that's one where he tucks in and he's got that acceleration that clearly is his advantage. But for me, it was the low drag that really set this game apart. You're not bombing him down the field. You're letting Hollywood do that. That's what this game plan was. I'm not sure that I need all the runs from him and the double reverse I could probably do without. But this tree showing what he did, I was very impressed with just how effective he was.
Yeah, and I think that, again, that play down the field where he comes in, the only reason it was called a catch because he got his left arm in there. He did what he could, just get his arm in there. And we know if it's a tie up in the air between a DB and an offensive player, it typically is they side with the offensive player. So either way, if he didn't technically make that catch for you, whatever. He got his arm in there and he made the best of it. So you saw that. You saw him do what he needed to do. And that catch to Worthy over the middle of the field, Mahomes was actually looking right first, right? Like he's looking to his right, and then he gets to it while staying calm in the pocket. Earlier in the game, he got antsy and missed Juju Smith-Schuster over the middle of the field because he was kind of jerky in the pocket. This time, he stopped, He moved, he kind of set his feet, and then he hit Worthy over the middle of the field. That's growth within the game. That's something that we honestly haven't seen a ton from Patrick in the regular season, but obviously in the postseason, it's different. You have to be able to settle down in those key moments. And earlier in the game, he missed that. And then in this clutch situation where they needed to score, he settles down, gets back to his middle of the field read, and hits Xavier Worthy for that big first down.
Folks, I give everyone license. When I start freaking out week 5 next year about how they're not running their offense right, they're not putting enough into it, just tell me to calm down and wait for the playoffs, okay? I will get there, and I will listen. Wanderer, thank you for the super chat. 3-peat incoming. I certainly hope so, folks. I've been counting it down. You've been with us. 4 quarters to go. Maybe in overtime if they get really stuck. 4 quarters to a championship and to historic levels of output for this team. We are here for it, and we're glad you are as well. Daryl, how bad good is our defense? And that is the great question. I'm not sure why this is messing up, Dan, so I'm going to quit using that one. It just won't go back to where it should be. So how bad good is the defense?
We knew coming into the game that the Bills' specific answers to the run game against the Chiefs were a problem. We knew it. And when you can do that and then you have some matchup problems, safeties on wide receivers, not the best situation. You get, honestly, I was talking shit about him before the game, but Hollins comes in and has his best game maybe ever in that football game. And you get the big play against McDuffie, who's much smaller than he is. And that's just an unfortunate situation that you see yourself put in from time to time. They get the big play over the middle of the field because you're not watching, you're not really paying attention to the middle of the field as Cook needs to be paying attention from the slot position specifically. It's right over him. He needs to be paying attention to that. But you saw in the fourth quarter, in those big moments, they got them to 4th down. How often did they get them to 4th down? Not every team. Now the Eagles are going to. We know that. The Eagles are going to go for it on 4th and short. I think that's testing them now. It's tested them. They've been able to get to those situations, and it's going to be a lot of the similar situations. So to answer your question, Daryl, I think that they are as bad as you, in the eye of the moment, see that they are, but collectively, they're very good. And in those, again, they don't make those key mistakes in those moments. You see a couple of things here and there. I think Justin Reed maybe came down on that touchdown a little bit too early, but that's not necessarily his fault because it's coming from left to right. So that's a miscommunication too. So there's still things you need to tighten up.
There is. Daryl, thank you for pointing out the defense, and thank you for over 4 years in the memberships, folks.
Thank you, Daryl.
Thank you for being Rogue Nation, because you guys are it, and be like Daryl. Get joined up and stick with us. We will have it for you, because Minotaur will as well, and then he'll give you some free memberships. So 10 of you are getting free memberships tonight. You can always upgrade to the rookie level above the draft pick so you can get all the extra content and my notes and everything that we give. It'll have the giveaway coupon codes for NFL 33 and what we do at Rogue APC. And if you don't know us from the draft, Rogue APC is where our draft content comes out as a guide. Dan's reviews are all over the Draft Network right now, and you can get that available. So don't miss that. And you can follow us both on social as well. Thank you, Minotaur, always spreading the word. Brenda, nice to see you on our way to 3-peat in New Orleans. Let's effing go. And thank you, Brenda, for 21 months. We appreciate it. Yeah, I'm not going to drop that one on a live tonight, Dan.
That's
you
fair.
know, I'll slip at some point, you know. Sean, one of our members, thank you for the support, brother. What a time to be a Chiefs fan. It's funny. I started my first Chiefs podcast in 2013, 4 years before Patrick, and look what this run has become. I don't always have good timing, but I got to say that was pretty good timing. The way Mahomes pulls the best out of his guys in the biggest moments is special. And Dan, is there really anything other than that you could say? Because that is something that good quarterbacks, great quarterbacks, aren't always able to do.
I think what was really important to start this game, and I thought they were going to maybe run the ball early to start it, the RPOs. They took advantage of those quickly. One, it settled Mahomes in, settled Hollywood Brown, and he started to get involved early. And then you start seeing defensive shift, right? Patrick took advantage of all the defensive shifts. So they said, okay, we're going to stop those. Okay, here's Xavier Worthy now. We're going to start getting Travis involved here. All right, we're going to throw this D-hop here. Elam's on this side, attack him. Elam's on that side, attack him. They managed the different ways that they attacked the defense so well. And then everybody contributed. Juju catches a couple of big passes. Justin Watson catches the 2-point conversion that they need. He's open from right to left. Patrick running with his legs, not letting anybody feel that they have to do too much themselves. Like that's what a great quarterback does. Nobody has to do too much. He took his share with his runs. Kareem Hunt, fantastic in this game. Once again, big runs, gutting through something. I don't know what he was going through, whether it was hurt, pain, or something was going on, but he was clearly not fully healthy in the second half, and you could see him getting through something. But Patrick, everyone feeds off of him because he allows everybody to contribute. Nobody has to do too much. Everyone is doing what they need to do. And then in those big moments, again, Patrick steps up. He's unaffected by the moment. I will say Josh Allen, to begin this game, was feeling the pressure. He felt it. And the Chiefs could not take advantage of some of those throws, unfortunately. You see that come to, you're not able to get the turnover there. But he settled down. Patrick, I thought he was managing a little bit differently with throwing the ball down. Like my wife pointed out to me, like, he's throwing these balls down. Like when he gets juiced up, he throws the ball high. We've seen that happen. I thought maybe he was trying to mitigate that a little bit. So just trying to do some of that there. So all I can say is that in these moments, he elevates everybody else, but he also makes it so nobody feels like they have to do too much.
And that's keeping everyone within their comfort zone so they can perform at their optimal. And that's just what leaders do. Thank you, Sean. Good to see you. Thank you, Quentin. How about those Chiefs? Never a doubt. Just don't pull the receipts from Discord. Okay, brother, I won't. Seriously, how did we win? Well, it was a battle. You had to come up and you had to do some things. Stopping the sneaks. Honestly, that's the number one thing. I can put this back up here. They went 4 for 6 on 4th down. That's key. You got 2 4th down stops on yardage that was less than a yard. That's incredible. And that's the difference. Chiefs were 1 for 1 on 4th. Obviously, take a look at 3rd down efficiency as well. Both of them got 5 first downs. It took the Bills 14 tries, only took the Chiefs 9. That's the difference. I will say this, though. It was a complete game. When you saw – my wife was like, who took that timeout? And I was like, it was Chris Jones. Like, he's walking off the field. Like, something wasn't right. That's leadership on the other side of the ball, not letting yourself get caught in a position where you put yourself where you can't come back and win. It's everybody, 69 players, including the practice squatters that are there for the sport, on the same page, doing the same thing, listening to the coaches, trusting in Spags, trusting in Andy. There are a few teams that can do this anywhere.
Nico Remigio, a big special teams play. Like, special teams contributed too. This was not just one person doing this. Chris Jones had a fantastic pressure game, but everyone fed off of it. Mike Dana just beat Spencer Brown on a nice little push-pull. He gets up here on his chest a little push-pull, and he wins for a sack. They were affecting Josh Allen in multiple different ways. He had one big run. But a lot of times it was, we are going to get him on one side and someone's looping around. They did that a lot, and it mitigated Josh Allen's ability to run the football in those key situations. The one time that he did, it was 2nd 11 and near the end of the game, and Spags did not spy him. And Josh was like, all right, thank you for the first down. I'll take that. And then it was like, well, we're not doing that again. And it's learning from the moments where you're wrong, right? You are wrong in games. You're going to have moments where you're wrong. You have to be able to come back, and as a team, figure out how to put everyone in the right position. I thought Spags did a fantastic job of doing that. Andy Reid, again, fantastic job. We didn't even see some of the runs they used against the Texans, which tells you they are game planning specifically for teams. And it's not just, all right, here's this, we're going to run it, and now we're going to build off of it. It was, we have game plan specific plays, and we know how to attack this defense. We know how to attack this defense, and we can execute. And they did a fantastic job of it.
And that's what it all comes down to, is being able to execute. That fumble I thought was on Pat. Should have let go of it. Fair enough. Knicks fan, it's not something, they haven't run RPO this much this season. So they're kind of going back and forth and trying to get up to speed on it yet again. And I do think that is part of what happens when you don't practice it enough. So fair enough. And thanks for being a member and always being in here.
Appreciate
nice to see you, buddy. Cody, nice to see you. Concerns about Connor and Johnson playing in the Super Bowl. Johnson probably for me. I didn't think Connor, I felt like he was more on his P's and Q's tonight. What did you think?
They didn't really attack Connor at all in this football game, which I thought to be a little shocking. But their main center of focus was running the football. Like, they brought in the extra offensive linemen. They ran the ball. They had moments where they were in 3rd and long situations on that drive. I think it was one drive specifically where they had 2 3rd and long situations. and they were able to throw the football there. But their attempt, especially in the second half, was run the football because that's what they had to do. And that's why it was so paramount, in my opinion, to score on that opening drive in the second half, to not let them just come down and run the football. You had to force their hand, and unfortunately they were unable to do that. And then they would get the big play on that fourth down, stopping them. So you had to have one of them. You had to. And then you get a couple of things. I don't think Justin Reed was offside. I watched it. It looked like he just timed it well again, and he gets called. Then he's poetically the one to stop him on fourth down. So you miss points there. Little things add up in games like this, and that's the main takeaway here. It costed the Bills a point because they didn't take that. I mean, Chiefs would have probably gone for 2-2, right? Most people are doing that.
Yeah.
But that's a calculated risk. You might not get it. You might not get that point. And so instead of a field goal needed to tie, it would have won in the football game. So there's just all these little things that add up at the end. And then the special teams, like I said, Nico Remigio with that big return, allow the Chiefs to score a touchdown quickly and go up those points. So all those little things add up. And at the end of the game, when you need a couple of first downs, Andy Reid just says, yeah, we got this. No big deal. We'll figure it out.
We're going to be okay. It's crazy. And you have to have trust in your teammates. Cody, thank you for 33 months in the membership.
Thank you, Cody.
Javante, welcome back. Look at this. 49. Javante's been here 4 years.
Wow.
You're the man, buddy. My boss is a Bills fan. Javante, I didn't know that.
You might get fired tomorrow.
Yeah, well, no, there'll be none of that. There'll be some good-natured whipping there, right?
I'm just joking.
And I'm sorry, I got this frog in my throat. I'm probably saying people's names wrong. Javante, I'm sorry. I said Tay twice. How sweet is it going to be tomorrow in the office to go in the morning? Go Chiefs. I think you should be called. Let him come to you. Let him come to you. And then just be like, what happened, buddy? Let him rant. Let him rant. That's what I would do. I would play
the power move. It's for the Chiefs haven't lost to the Bills in the playoffs. It's a power move. You don't have to say anything because he's already thinking it. He'll come to you eventually talking about it. Just play the power move and be like, yeah, I know.
Javante, nice to see you, and thank you for 4 years plus, brother. Nice to see you. Caroline, good to see you. I must have missed what you put up there because I clicked the wrong one. My apologies, but everybody say hi to Caroline. She's always in here, and she does a great job, and hopefully we'll see more of her soon. Much respect to the Bills. It's always a dogfight. Spana, you're absolutely correct, and that's what I like. Would I be upset if they lost? Yes. But knowing that it's the Bills and it's that how hard fought that is, I have respect for that. And if you're going to lose to somebody, I can live with it, especially because I like watching Josh play everybody else. So I'm into it. Haters keep hating.
I mean, you guys know we predicted that it was going to be a close game. We respect the Bills. Like I have nothing against them. I love watching Josh Allen. I love them continuing to adjust and adapt their team and their offense. But all of this is what the Chiefs have done already. Like they're trying to get to what the Chiefs are doing. They're a step behind because the Chiefs already got to that point.
Yeah. What did I have it? I had a 28-27 was my prediction. So
yeah, I had 27-24. So a 3-point game. Like it was close.
Yeah. I mean, good for them for getting it done. We saw this one already, Timmy. Juju coming up big when he needs to. Again, a key contributor, doesn't have to do a lot, but he's there. Low-key great performance from Mahomes. I mean, honestly, I would say high key. I wouldn't even call it low key because you beat Josh Allen at his game. You outran him and you outthrew him. You were the more complete quarterback, yet he deserves to be the MVP. So I think that says a lot.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's when you can do what the other guys do, and everyone says, well, Mahomes is a great scrambler. He's not a great runner. I thought in this game, the Super Bowl last year, when they understood some of the situations, like that touchdown wasn't. It was a read option. Like remember. Go back to the Super Bowl last year when they ran those read options. They saw the Buffalo defense starting to get after it. So Patrick, once again, holds it, and then he takes off. That's just adjusting in game. They've been doing it so well in these big moments. And another one where Andy Reid and Pat say, hey, we have another touchdown here. We get you it. You get it to you. You go ahead and do it.
I love it. Adam, thank you for the support, buddy. Does Hicks need to play more? Probably. I don't think Cook can turn his hips and run worth a lick. Love the D-line play, and thanks for the content, and thanks for always being here, Adam. It's good to see you, bud. Cooks is my guy. I'm going to stand by him. He has not played the greatest this season. I hope that he can take more from it and improve next year. We're gonna find out. But yes, Hicks does need to play more. So that is maybe the yin and yang of that situation.
Yeah, I just think that they're going to need a legitimate true free safety that can play too high. Because if you have someone who can really roam the field as a free, they can play too high and cover some of that ground. I just think that they need talent injection in there in terms of speed, not all these box safeties, which is all they have.
Right. Yeah, I completely agree with you. Super Bowl bound Dirty said, another 3-year member. Nice to see you, buddy. How do we stop Barkley? Well, honestly, you do what you did tonight. You stack it up so that you're hitting the A gaps, but you're also aware of the outer edge. Because yes, Cook got away a couple of times, but it wasn't like they were repeatedly running, toss power outside or getting him to the point where he could get to the edge by himself. That's what Barkley does. You'll notice his biggest plays are usually when he gets to the edge, is able to out-accelerate people, especially this year, is my personal feeling. So I think they have the ability, especially with the outside linebackers and Chanel and Tranquil, to try to take some of that on.
The problem is they're not going to be able to commit everybody to it. That's the problem, is that defenses are committing everyone to stopping him, and he's getting a crease, and it's over. He's taking it to the house. So you can't commit everybody to it, but you also have to be able to change things up and kind of blitz here, take some chances off the edge there, and kind of get after him in the backfield.
The easier thing with the Eagles, though, you're going to have more run-specific downs. Their tendencies are very much different than the Buffalo Bills. So you can slant. You can run more twists where the loopers are coming to the outside late where you can meet him. I think there are possibilities there, and I'm sure Spags and Cullen will have it squared up. We'll talk more about Joe Cullen as we go through this next couple of weeks. There's a lot going on with him, and I think his impact is still not, even though despite our efforts, going noticed enough.
Yeah.
So Maximo, thank you for the super sticker. We appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for being here again. It's nice to see you. AWD, nice to see you. Yes, and you have it right. They're just a different animal, a different breed. They shapeshift into something scarier with bigger fangs and bigger legs, and they get it done. And that's the way that it goes. Ryan D, shout out to Kareem. He wants that Super Bowl ring. Yeah, and he should. He should feel like he was slighted because of everything that happened. Would you call it a redemption story if you were writing this as a movie? Because I would.
Yeah, no, this is because we have the video of Kareem Hunt breaking down, saying he should be there when the Chiefs were on their way to their first Super Bowl with this team. This is a redemption story. It's a redemption arc. It is. And yes, you can hate everything that happened early on and why he was kicked off the team in the first place. But we can also recognize that something clearly changed with Kareem Hunt. He's had no problem since. He has done everything in his power to give back again. Try to not always just correct the wrong, but be a better person because of it, right? Everyone makes mistakes. That was a big one. And then he lied about it. This is a different person. And what he's doing, again, because the Chiefs don't have a real run game, what he's been able to do has been their run game. Today, again, I tweeted it out. He should get 65+% of the touches at running back. I think he cleared that by a large margin because he was far more impactful than Pacheco has been at all since he came back.
Yeah, if you're just talking about the running back touches, it was 3-1, 17-5.
Yeah, exactly.
So 3/4 of them went to him. Ryan, thank you for that, and very good point. Darius, nice to see you, bud. Pat is the GOAT. Sorry, Ryan. Montana's number 2 now. I'm fine with that. My only problem, the only thing I'm saying is Tom Brady is not in the top 2, bro. That's where I'm at. I don't care what happens next game. I've never seen anyone greater, and you're absolutely right. And I'm a Montana guy to my heart. But that changes things. Pat is number 1. Tom is 3. Sorry, Brady fans. You're never going to convince me otherwise. Thank you, Darius. Good to see you. Thanks, buddy. Jeremy, Worthy balled out, hopefully for years to come. This is just scratching the surface because he had to do stuff. They didn't let him grow into his role because of what he had to do earlier. I mean, imagine when Rasheed comes back. We don't know how many games it's going to be next year or whatever it is, but look at what it's going to look like. It's crazy.
The Chiefs just got back to the Super Bowl after losing their best receiver.
Twice.
We forget how Rashee Rice was, how he was balling. Like, we're talking, he was on pace for 1,200 plus yards this year. He was probably going to maximize that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the Chiefs are back in the Super Bowl because they had to force Worthy into more. They had to see what else he can do. And now he's grown. His route tree has grown. They're also using him a little bit more like he was intended to be used this year. A little bit of gadget stuff here, over routes, some down the field stuff. Here's the little whip route here, out of the backfield for the touchdown. Once again, that little drag route there. So all these horizontal stretches as well as vertical stretches. Ryan showed you guys the map where he was running his route. They're trying very hard and doing a very good job of creating horizontal stretch, but also vertical stretch at the same time. So you have to remember that tight ends like Travis Kelce, maybe D-Hop are going down the field a little bit on their routes, and then Xavier is coming underneath, running backs are coming underneath, and they're creating horizontal and vertical stretch at the same time, and it creates space. And that's how they're able to get so many touchdowns for Xavier this year.
And the only cure for it is more extreme athletes.
Yeah.
Nobody has those this time of year. The fact that they're healthy definitely makes an impact here. No other team's going to be able to do that. Thank you, Jeremy.
Agreed.
Good to see you, bud. Daryl, thank you. Don't forget you didn't have to give me a super chat to remind me to
Appreciate
remind everyone
that,
to hit the thumbs up. But cheers to you, buddy. Appreciate you, Daryl, as always. Dub Freak, you are always on the spot. Nice to see you, pal. Let's go, Chiefs. Let's enjoy it, Dan Ryan. We made history. Regardless of what happens February 9th, we are the pinnacle of the NFL. For a 3-year stretch, it is incredible, and you are absolutely right. I don't think it's over. I think they can beat this Philadelphia team. I think if you do take away Barkley, there's a couple of guys you got to watch out for, but I'm not that scared. I got to tell you the truth. So, yes, we're going to enjoy it.
Little bit.
You're a little scared?
I'm a little worried about this. I'm a little worried about Jalen Carter. I'm worried about Jalen Carter. That's who I'm worried about. I'll be very honest with you about that because that's something different that the Chiefs will have to game plan for pretty well. But overall, when you get to the big dance, it's one game. It's 4 quarters. Anybody can win this game.
Yeah. We're going to have long discussions over the next 2 weeks about Jalen Carter and whether it should be Caliendo or whether it should be Joe Thuney in there at guard facing him. This is going to be a lot of discussion.
There has not been one team that's ever gotten back to the Super Bowl after winning the first 2 in a row. Never. It's never happened. This is the first team even to get there. They're already in historic era. Finish the damn job.
Yes. Hey, maybe I should put that on a shirt too. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Dub
that's
Freak.
right. Finish the damn job.
Dub Freak. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you. And thanks for supporting us as you always do. Good to see you. Genny, thank you, buddy. Thank you, Bills, for making trades to let us draft Mahomes and Worthy. I mean, that's got to hurt when you go back. Brandon's on the plane right now, or they're just loading up probably. And that's got to be running through his head. The next time Brett Veach calls, tell him to piss off. I'm not talking to him. That's what I would be saying.
Xavier Worthy meant every word from this previous week, that he did take it personally. It doesn't matter. I saw Bills fans talking about how he said he wanted to play for the Chiefs and didn't want to be drafted anywhere. You're telling me right now you fully believe that any player that gets drafted doesn't want to play there in terms of that point. There's one situation that we know of where they were like, no, I'm not playing there. But players want to get drafted. If the Bills would have selected Xavier Worthy, you think he would have held his phone, just put his head down and say, I don't want to play for Buffalo. No, you have Josh Allen. Of course, he would have been happy as hell to go play for the Bills. Can we stop this melancholy BS? Come on.
Yeah. Come on.
Every wide receiver is always like putting something on their shoulder to say to play better. And in this moment, he was the best receiver on the field in terms of putting up the stats, making things happen. The best receiver on the field.
He was, and he was electric. And thank you for stepping out of bounds, X. I appreciate you. Let's make sure we keep doing that. Genny, thanks, buddy. Nice to see you. Racifus, thank you, pal. I'm with Romo. Running the ball takes the ball out of the hands of Mahomes for negative payoff. I am not. I think running the ball sets it up for Patrick to be having the room to get loose and do what he needs to do.
I think how they handled it was perfect. They ran it on first down, and then that 2nd and 9, they were like, we can roll out here. I'm okay with rollouts in the second down. I will amend Tony Romo's situation. If you have a good rollout plan for your quarterback on 2nd down in those moments, go for it. Full field, no thanks, because too many things can happen. For this one, he can either go forward, he can throw it quick, or hit that back one. And if not, you throw it away, you live for another down, you say, fine, they don't have to use timeout. We take it on the 3rd down and see what we can do. So I think that's how I handle it. Put it in Mahomes' hands for 2 down, but modify it slightly so that he can just kind of take off if he needs to.
Yeah, give him some options. DJ, thank you, buddy. Somebody please go check on Troy Aikman. He's probably having a heart attack right now. I don't think he's doing too well.
He didn't watch the game,
up, buddy.
He didn't watch
probably not. Bills had their Super Bowl in week 11. You're right, Jacob. They got their W in week 11. I hope they enjoy it. It's going to be a long off season in Buffalo. I was very surprised to see Dion Dawkins and Chris Jones laughing it up there when they knew that game was over. I was surprised to see that. I thought he would be going off.
I think that was more of a frustrated laugh from Dion Dawkins. He's just like, what are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? We just can't get it done. And for that, I feel a little bit for him. People are also there's going to be a lot of talk about Dalton Kincaid this week. Don't feed into it.
Yeah.
Don't feed into it. Bills fans are gonna go at him. Don't do it.
That was a hell of a comeback. He almost made that catch. That was not on him.
Great throw from Josh Allen, moving back again to his right on 4th and 5. Made a great throw. Embrace the difficulties. It happens, right? Mark Andrews, veteran, drops a 2-point conversion against the Bills. People went after him. Don't let these people go after players, okay? If you see it happening, I would step in there because you don't want to have that happen. He's already got enough in here going on saying he didn't catch that football. Don't add to it.
I agree. I look forward to when Dion Dawkins is a Chief when he turns 32 and they sign him in a one-year contract. So that should be pretty entertaining. So, Callie, nice to see you, pal. Hope you had a good time with this game. Yeah, you guys are the best. That's all I got. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you. And thanks for always being here. It's nice to see you. Jacob, thank you again for another super chat. Yeah, timer. I like the timer icon. That's awesome. I got to get better into emojis. My kids will help me. Alex, Party Pat showing again. Can the nieces allow down a Barkley?
I imagine that's supposed to say, can the Chiefs slow down Barkley?
Okay. It must be good wherever you're having a good time right now, Alex, because I'm not able to read. History is on the line. It absolutely is. This is going to be crazy. And yes, Barkley will be the focus for the next 2 weeks. We'll probably start talking about him tomorrow. So make sure you join us for the Q&A because that'll be tomorrow night. We'll have stuff from me and Dan the following days. You'll get all the stat breakdown from Gary on Thursday, and then we'll have something special for you on Friday because there won't be a game plan because we got 2 weeks to the next game. It's going to be great. Golden age of Chiefs football. You're absolutely right, Hawkeyes. Appreciate you, and welcome back from the 70s. I like it. KC, as a KC fan, three-peat. As a Washington fan, and Philly. Okay, so it's 2 for 1 there. I think that's great.
Yeah, right. That's what you're looking for. It's all about that. You just get what you got, right?
Yeah, take it. And thanks for the 10 months, Casey. Appreciate you. Tactics, nice to see you back. You were in early. I'm glad you made it back, buddy. Was this the real Super Bowl? The Eagles can't hang. I like the way you think, and I said this to someone yesterday, that I think this game will be tougher than the following game. It doesn't mean that it won't be tough, but I think this was the best matchup and the best motivation against the Chiefs of any team, including the Eagles.
Jalen Hurts is getting 2 weeks off, guys. If he's hurting right now, he's going to get 2 weeks off, just like the Chiefs are. I don't think they can't hang. It's a Super Bowl. The Eagles hung in the last one that they played in, and I think they're a better team now than they were then. They absolutely will hang in this game.
Okay. Notorious, nice to see you, bud. Cook and Nazi should not return next year, but the Chiefs will win the Super Bowl. Well, they will both return next year because they're on rookie contracts, so they're not going to cut either of them. And I like the way that you're thinking. The Super Bowl win heals a lot of wounds, including what's going on in the secondary. And I do think there's room for both those guys to improve still. So let's keep our fingers crossed. Thanks, Notorious. And tactics, again, would the Ravens have been harder? My gut wants to tell me no, although Derrick Henry's a different beast to stop, and I do believe Lamar would have used his legs more than Josh was able to tonight.
I think that Josh was forced to not use his legs very much. I think Spags tried to take him away. Obviously, when we watch the All 22, we'll get a better idea of that. But overall, I thought they had a good game plan for it. And then this has kind of been going on for the Bills. They've kind of been just handing the ball off and not letting Josh take so many hits. When he came out to open the game and ran, I'm like, okay, this is going to be a Josh Allen run game where he just takes off for 17 carries and 100+ yards. And no, it was different. It was not the same. So I think that they noticed something different about what the Chiefs are doing and maybe went away from it a little bit.
Yeah, I'm with you. Tactics, thank you. Daryl, thank you again. Dan, who do you think Romo was going for?
Oh, he was rooting for Josh Allen, 100%. All you have to do is watch him cover Josh Allen every every single game that he plays. He does not want Mahomes to continue to beat. He loves Mahomes. He respects Mahomes. He wants Josh Allen to win this game. He absolutely did. Most people were rooting for it. That's what they wanted. They wanted Josh Allen to get over the hump.
Yeah, I agree. And honestly, if it wasn't against the Chiefs have lost a couple of weeks ago and we're out of it, I would be rooting for Josh as well. So I understand where they're coming from. Freak, appreciate you. Again, 5 more people just got memberships. Thank the Freak. Appreciate you spreading the word. That gets you into the Discord that is only for our members. Obviously, it gets you in here. And if you can upgrade, you can get over to the rookie level for the Discord and all the content and all the notes and all that stuff. But you can thank the path that you are on now. Dub Freak Freer. Appreciate you, buddy.
Awesome,
Quentin, thank you. Does the media make a big deal about the calls Buffalo got or didn't against them like they do against us? That false start on us was BS. It was Buffalo that moved first. Yeah, I agree. I think Ed Oliver forced that move. I disagreed with that call, but no, the media won't bitch about it as much as they will the Chiefs because it's just the media has Chiefs fatigue too.
They won't care. This game, because there were like few controversial penalty stuff, they're not going to say anything about the penalties. They're going to talk about the 4th down. Be ready. Tomorrow you're going to hear all of it. It's all going to be about the Chiefs 4th down. That's what the Bills not getting that 4th down. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah. That's exactly what it's going to be. Turning over on downs. They got a little comfortable there. I think you get what you deserve. If you're going to roll the dice on a 4th, that's what you get. Thanks, Quentin. Scott, thank you, buddy. I am so happy for Kareem Hunt and DeAndre Hopkins. Again, Hop didn't have to be involved very well. Made, 2 catches, I thought it was? I got to double check that. Yeah, it was just 1 on 2 targets. So, I mean, I'm shocked at that a little bit, but it's just one more thing that they can go do next week.
Exactly.
So, I tell you what. Redemption and Hollywood being more involved in getting more targets than DeAndre Hopkins. I do find that a little surprising, but I'm glad to see that they're thinking the way I am, that Hollywood brings something to the table that can change games, and they need to keep trying to do that until it works. I thought he looked good, and I'm excited to see what they do in 2 weeks. Minotaur, those Eagles looked pretty good today too. They absolutely did. Do you have any grand takeaways from the Eagles game?
I think that they knew exactly how to attack the Washington Commanders. That game would have been closer if they didn't turn the ball over 4 times. They turned the ball over 4 times, and the Eagles scored a touchdown every single time. Every time. That's how you lose football games. That was a team that wasn't ready for the moment. You could tell. Watch those Eagles defenders. They knew they were going to get fumbles. They were punching at every single football. Every time. It was a punch. It was a punch. It was a punch. They're going to come into to this game in the Super Bowl doing the same thing. You have to be prepared for that stuff. So I thought that the Eagles looked good, but I also thought that the defense gave up more plays than I expected them to.
Yeah. Okay. That's absolutely fair. And I like that. I find one more thing that I just remembered in the stats that I was going to bring up earlier. Thank you, Minotaur, for bringing up the Eagles. And this is fair, Kurt. Don't feel bad for Dawkins, especially after calling the Chiefs former 2-time champions on a podcast before the game. I didn't know that, and so screw him. But that's fine. The other thing that I noticed, and it left my brain right after the game, the Chiefs lost the turnover battle today and still won the ballgame. Does that surprise you?
No, not really.
Okay.
Because there were a couple of – if it would have been like 2, maybe. Mm-hmm. But they technically didn't lose the turnover battle. They got that 4th down turnover on downs. So
okay, fair enough.
You technically have a turnover. It's not counted as a turnover, but they technically didn't.
I stand corrected. I love that. Katie, thank you. I appreciate the super chat. I didn't see a comment, but cheers to you and hope you're having a fun night. Rather see Hicks out there over Cook, or am I crazy? Brandon, you're not alone. I know Dan would probably prefer that. I would like to see them play more. I would like to see, honestly, Cook be able to play Cook's game. He's not a center fielder. He doesn't belong up high. He's a box safety, as Dan said before.
It's tough. They have a lot of them. They have a lot of guys that are box safeties, and they draft good players. Like, I don't have a problem with them drafting good players, guys that they like, but they now need somebody that can play free a little bit and take some pressure off of these guys that are only too high or box safeties in situations where they need them to be a little bit more than just that.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. Thanks, Brandon. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Buffalo, for giving us Patrick. You're absolutely right. And Worthy. And honestly, I know those guys are friends, Veach and Bean. I don't think it's necessarily over. I mean, if I was Bean, I wouldn't take his calls anymore, especially after tonight. But that's just me.
No, I think that you just hang up the phone. Actually, tell everyone to look at the area code. If it's an 816, just don't answer the phone.
Yeah, right. We're done, folks, and we are going to be done here on Gnarly's comment. We appreciate you being with us. I'm going to be live on Locked On Chiefs here in a little bit, as Matt Derrick's going to join us live from Arrowhead. He's getting set up now, so we'll be on there in a little bit. Notice not one person said a word about the Bills O-line getting 3 or 4 uncalled full starts. That is a very good point, and I hope this puts to bed the whole discussion about calls. This was a game that there were things missed on both sides. There were wrong things on both sides. It evens out, as Dan always says, and comes out in the wash.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to preach it far more, because I know everyone gets caught up in the penalties and talking about this versus that, how this penalty affected this play here. But they overblew everything that happened against the Texans because it was not in critical moments. They were on second downs. But everyone wanted to continue to showcase these things. If you just watch a football game all the way through, those things come out in the wash. And that's what I'm going to try to continue to stress for not just you guys, for anybody that will listen. Just they come out in the wash. Focus on the key moments. In the key moments, Josh Allen had a 4th and 5, where he got blitzed. They created a free rusher with Trent McDuffie, forced him to throw the ball all the way to his right on a 4th and 1. They stopped Josh Allen. They forced the Bills to go for it on 4th down 7 times. That is what you should take away from this football game, not anything to do with penalties.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Thank you, Gnarly. Nice to see you. We got 2 more in here and 2 more comments that we're just going to go super fast there, Dan. Were the Bills outcoached or outplayed?
The Bills were both. Both.
That's what I think.
It's not an or, it's a both.
Yeah. It is a solid yes. And Charlie, does having extra box safeties help against Philly? Very good point.
That's an excellent point. Yeah, I don't think you're going to necessarily worry so much about what happened in the first matchup. I think that Hurts is not on that level. We'll find out, obviously, in the Super Bowl if he can recreate some of that. But overall, I do think you're going to have some of that. But Cook's going to have to work on his tackling, specifically wrapping up from depth. If you want someone to do that, it's Jaden Hicks. Jaden Hicks is the guy that can come from depth, wrap up, and get that done.
Yeah, agreed. He just has a natural ability for it. Thank you, Charlie. Dan, the Jets fan, 21. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate your support. And here's to your Jets getting a good coach. I am a big Glenn fan, so I think you guys are on the up there. Notorious, we're going to end with you. You now get the last word. I would love to be a fly on the wall listening to D-Hop's interviews, his first Super Bowl, and Kareem Hunt deserves this. So proud of both of them. Well, and I'm glad to see them both get it. And I do think we'll see. I usually get some access to the Super Bowl. I had a long talk with Anthony Sherman a couple of years ago. So we'll see what we can do for you, and we'll ask him some of those questions. So thanks, Notorious. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Appreciate you,
Notorious. Final thoughts before we sign off?
Man, it's almost, it's hard to put words together to watch what a team is doing when they're literally making history. And I always try to speak without hyperbole as much as possible, but right now, I don't think this is hyperbolic. This is the greatest football team that's ever been created, ever. That's all that they do is they win.
Yeah.
So everybody watching, whether you're a new fan or an old fan, but particularly if you watched them for a while, y'all deserve this.
Yeah.
Embrace it, enjoy it, and don't let anybody try and take anything of this away from the fans, because the players are not going to. They don't care what's said on the outside about penalties or this is rigged. None of that. They care about legacy. They care about history. And that's what we are watching unfold in front of our eyes.
4 quarters to a Lombardi, folks. We're going to have a good time. Hit the like for Caroline if you would, and have a great night. Q&A live tomorrow at our normal time. We look forward to talking to all of you then. Have a great night, and catch me on Locked On Chiefs coming up here in just a little bit. Take care. We'll talk to you tomorrow.